idea is that we do 20 minutes, 20 hours of presentation. No, 20 minutes. 20 minutes of presentation and then 10 minutes of Q&A. That's the general sort of structure, but we can mix it up. I think all speakers are happy to take some questions as we go along, but the general idea is that we present here and then we go and sit down here. The speaker sits there, and next to the speaker is Amar. Amar is going to be the moderator for the day. Amar works at Carnegie and covers our stock, and will be the moderator for the day. So you'll see a lot of him. I think that's it. Yes, and so also if you're watching at home on YouTube and you want to raise a question, you'll find the format on the screen. I think it is. Punch in the question, and my colleague Dennis here, he will make sure, or try to make sure, that your questions are addressed. So that's the format. So and then after we finish here, you're all invited up for drinks on the roof, and the weather seems good, so that'll be nice. Yeah. So this is the schedule of the day. I'll do a very short intro and then get you exposed to these portfolio companies of ours, 6 all in all. Yeah, well, all of you know us, VNV Global, and what we do and the structure of our portfolio. I thought I'd sort of introduce on what's on our to-do list, what's high on the to-do list. And it's essentially 2 things. One is to make sure that we have that we address our debt. As you know, we have one bond maturing in June 2024 and a slightly larger one maturing in January 2025. So that I would classify as top of the to-do list when we all get to work. Number 2 is to stay close to the portfolio and make sure that the companies have everything they need to sort of do what they should do. And I think in general, as you'll be aware, the environment is such that you don't want to fundraise. So make sure that you grow, but grow profitably. On the debt situation, as this slide sort of shows, we have $58 million of cash, and the outstanding debt. This is all sort of per the last report, but the outstanding debt at today's FX is just over $150 million. So the first bond that matures is in June 2024. That is about $45 million. So that bond will pay off with the cash that we have. In fact, we've put aside the right amount of Swedish crowns and put it on an account that doesn't quite yield what we pay on the coupon. We pay 5.5% on that bond in a coupon, but close enough. So that's a wash. And then the remaining cash we'll have to sort of fund OPEX, fund the other coupon, and fund whatever we need to do in the portfolio. So obviously that's a little tight, but we are also we then come to the stuff that we're raising liquidity from the portfolio. So there's some stuff that's pretty easy to sell, which will give us enough to do whatever we need to do in the portfolio, and then the remaining will go to paying off the second bond, which is in January 2025. And well, until you've sold something, it's not sold. But I feel very good and confident that we'll be able to. We have some exits in the portfolio that will cover the second bond and a little bit more. So that's the general feeling. So going to the portfolio and making sure that the portfolio, we can support the portfolio companies in every possible way. I think just high level from the overall sort of structure of the portfolio is getting more and more concentrated. In fact, 70% is in 5 assets as per the June report. We of course close September soon, and that report will be out in, I think, the 3rd week of October. But the general picture is about the same. So you're starting to get a more and more concentrated portfolio, which is which is just evolving like it is. In general, the portfolio is growing well, and over the past sort of 4 years, there's been a 40% CAGR on revenues. So growth is still there, but what you'll notice year to year is that there's an increasing focus on profitability and to become cash flow positive, and that comes at the expense of high growth. So you'll see that growth from year to year has tailed off a little bit, but which is very natural as the companies focus on profitability rather than growth. And if you look across the entire portfolio, we've gone from about 45% EBITDA positive to, if you include Voi, well, getting close to 70% EBITDA positive. We have Voi in another bracket because I think it's the only company in our portfolio where we should really talk about EBIT. And so EBITDA positive now, soon to be EBIT positive, but going in the right direction is the picture we want to show. The other, I think, more general thoughts I think we have is also to, well, you've already heard me mention and talk about the portfolio, that it's getting more concentrated, and the larger part of the portfolio is becoming profitable. And profitable growth, I think, is probably what I think markets overall, in good times and bad times, are probably public markets are most prone to sort of appreciate that kind of maturity. And so what we've done here, and increasingly the way we think about the portfolio, is that we put the earlier stage stuff in sort of two buckets. One, and we've sorted them, we've arranged them here geographically. So one in an emerging markets bucket, and the other one in a more sort of Nordic European bucket. So those two buckets may over time become separate vehicles, or but the starting point is to at least think about them as these two buckets. The last slide we had as a very short intro to the company at large is an ownership slide, which it's continuously evolving. We're getting more and more Swedish part of the cap table, but our largest shareholder, Acacia, is still the largest shareholder, now followed by Swedish family who's organized under the holding company Oman. And then Back in Black, also Swedish family, slightly smaller, followed by Bailey Gifford. So that's getting close to nearly 50% across those four names. Dennis, are you worried about something? No, are you good? Good. I get nervous when he looks around. So, but sorry. We're 20 minutes ahead of schedule. Okay, so I'm gonna have to keep you. I have nothing more to say really. So we're waiting for BlaBlaCar's founder to come, but I think we just rearrange and start with someone else. I see Jordi here. Do you want to kick off? Not ready. Okay. Anyone else here? No. Fredrik's ready. Yeah, Fredrik's around. Yeah. But I don't really have any jokes to say, so never was a stand-up comedian. But are there any thoughts about this? Amar, you're usually no, he's quiet too. No, but yeah, that's the intro. What else can I say? We have clearly the highest on the to-do list for us is to find some stuff in this portfolio that we can sell to pay down the second bond. The first bond is covered, but the second bond, we need to sell some stuff, and I have good conviction that we can. And I think we've spoken broadly sort of about which parts of the portfolio are in a natural exit phase and which ones are not. But but the ones that are in a natural exit phase are we have very good dialogue with people who are interested. Thankfully, pretty much all the companies are doing well and have done this shift from, you know, higher growth with cash outflow to a little bit slower growth and then profitability. So that makes them more sort of that makes them more interesting for buyers. I should also say, like we spoke earlier today with one of you, that I mean I definitely sense that you look at our market price. We had that slide here, which puts the portfolio, which the market value about $200 million, which compares sort of to the NAV of a north of 700. You definitely get a feeling. I mean, I know the debt plays into this, but going further from that, the market's telling me that there's no way you're going to be able to sell assets at a price that's anywhere near the NAV, and from a arguably quite thin data set, because our portfolio is not the full market, but the transactions that we see in our portfolio in the secondary space are at NAV. So there's some stuff going on in companies where we have opted not to be in an exit phase because we think there's much higher upside. But here we see that there are transactions happening that are around our NAV. So doesn't mean that everything will trade at NAV if we kicked it all out today, which we're not. But from where we are, there's a lot of I mean, there's quite constructive sort of data coming out of our like tiny part of capital markets. Yeah. So that's encouraging.